I think seeing a pissed off Nanami absolutely just go wild, have nothing holding him back, because when you see so much death around you, especially death that is so personal to you, you obviously are going to take the gloves off, and to see a man who is wiping the floor with Nobara and just to see him, it almost killed him in one punch. Nanami almost was the One Punch Man, and him getting the answers out one way or another was a sight to behold, because the glares, the looks, at one point grabs the ponytail, brings him up close. He's probably hoping it's a kiss, but nope, it's a fist of death. And holy hell, man, this was insane. From Toji, I mean, still just deciding that, hey, you know what, F them kids, F the elderly too. He's splattering fools left and right. Everything they're doing with souls and bodies this season is so cool between him and Geto. Just such a good episode is all I'm saying. A full live reaction though to today's wonderful JJK episode over on my Patreon. If you would like to see that, it's over there if you're interested. Now, there's quite a bit to break down, man. There is so many moments that could just be the star. May had quite a few killer moments. I mean, she pretty much made that fool call her mommy. And honestly, there was, if looks could kill, she had those looks. They even surprised us by the end with her meeting up with Geto, you know, going through all the scenarios in her head of what it could mean. Ultimately to come to the decision that, nope, this is definitely an imposter, and man, did that imposter throw her into a prison of death. And I'm excited to see what they do there, because it's really interesting, because if anything, this episode pretty much proves if you're not first class, I mean, you're dead, and even then, you probably still have a good shot at dying. I mean, Noburo's getting her shit pushed in. I mean, Yuji will be up in the air because he definitely is a kind of wild card in this whole situation. He'll probably do a lot better than many, but this is pretty much like, if you get involved, you're probably have more of a chance of dying than surviving, and that spells trouble for pretty much every damn character. And even a character like Nanami, as badass as he was in this episode, even he's not safe. No one feels safe, especially when you start an arc more or less sealing the man who could kill everyone in the world if he wanted to. I think the two biggest highlights for this episode is without a doubt though Nanami's rage and the brief moment of what Toji did to that grandma. I was interested to see what they did with Toji. It wasn't really a surprise he comes back, given the fact that they already kind of got us to understand that characters can still be around in some way. Like, just look at Geto, right? Like, his body instinct-wise, like his soul and everything, just the fact that he was still trying to help Gojo even after the whole brain swap thing, right? I think one of the coolest things they've done this season is the idea of body versus soul and which one's more powerful than the other. And what we ended up getting in this case seemingly is kind of the opposite of basically, well, you know, Toji's body is is just built different. I mean, the fact that you can try to use soul, you can try to do this or that, but he came through and grandma got splattered. And whether it's the kids and not paying the child support to the elderly, he has no respect for anyone, and it definitely shows. And it's probably a good thing we don't have to fight him just yet, because there's way too much bullshit going on, but it definitely spells trouble, because, I mean, last week we end with, it wasn't really like clear if it was a death or not. Like, he got screwed up, but then, like, we start this episode, he's falling off the building, they catch him, he's not dead, but he ain't looking good either. I mean, yeah, we got one barrier down for the sorcerers, but two barriers are still up. Like, it's not a good time to be the heroes, is the best way to put it. But my personal favorite is hands down the Nanami stuff, because, I mean, just the fact that, like, he says, like, a couple of words, but the intro to this episode is him just almost just deadpan. You can tell the rage is boiling, and when he comes in, it's just wrapping up his fist and just one punch man. The fact that we go from Nobara getting her skull pretty much caved in, like, she got knocked out hard. Like, the initial impact looked hurtful, but then they show you the x-ray of her skull, and I'm like, holy shit, no wonder she can't get up here. And the fact that he does an even worse version of that to this scumbag was so good, because what I really enjoy is like a villain or a psychopath who feels like they're not taking things seriously. And in this case, a man with a goddamn sword hand is pretty much the definition of not taking things seriously when he's jumping around, dancing around. Oh, you're gonna have the walls cave in on me? He's basically acting like it's a shower, man. Like, it's just pure psychopath energy, stabbing fools in the ass, stabbing fools in the thigh, and just torturing them to just absolute humiliation. And then in comes a man who immediately makes him second guess, saying, you know what, I'm just gonna run because I can't beat this fool. And by the end, building into what should be his death, or at the very least, probably wishing it is his death because it's only going to get more painful, he pretty much says, "Please, daddy, no more," and he gets thrown into the next building over. It was such a great scene because rather than it just being this typical rage of him punching repeatedly, it was very calculated. He would ask a question and then he would break more bones. And every time he brought him close to look deep into his eyes, you were just glad you weren't on the receiving end because holy hell, chills. And it was really, really, really good and badass. It was nice seeing Nobara fight because we really haven't seen her fight too much in recent memory. But on the top of it, you have stuff like with the Mei fight where just, casually walking, feeling like you're Freddy or Jason, just approaching your opponent and just the psychopath energy, you never quite know where we're going because any of these moments could be 20 minutes of content that we're gonna watch from the start of the episode all the way to the end. But they cut around to 4 or 5 different characters and you're like, yep, I could focus on this just fine. Show me a full episode of Toji. Show me a full episode of Nanami. Okay, Nobara? Sure, we haven't seen her fight in a while. And then when you start seeing just how bad things are getting, you're like, maybe we could cut over to the next scene over because goddamn, I don't think I'm ready to see them die. We're already establishing people are gonna die and have died already. It's only a matter of time before big characters as well. I mean, this was really, really fun. There was some cute animation moments, like, I don't know, it's funny because like Mei's kind of like doing the strut. She just kind of like walking like she owns the town as she's ready to cave in someone's face. The action scenes were spectacular. The voice acting, I mean, Nanami has one of my personal favorite VAs in anime. I just love how intimidating his voice always is. And whether it is just a casual conversation to approaching saying, "Give me my answers," or, well, basically, he doesn't even have to threaten you. His voice is already threatening enough. It's pretty much like, "Give me my answers." And if you don't give the answers, your skull's being caved in. And he lives up to his promises or threats, whatever you want to put them as. And it was very, very fun, man. I'm very excited for Yuji though, because he's got quite the fight on his hands. And we pretty much established that, like, a lot of the characters that we would normally expect to be a part of an arc are outclassed and are just gonna get themselves killed as seen by Nobara and seen by them like wanting to help, but really, can they help? Yuji is a different class. I do think he'll be okay, especially with everything that's going on with him, but at the same time, like, this is just gonna keep getting bloodier and bloodier. And for as many characters as we're focusing on, like I keep saying, it's a good thing Gojo was sealed because this does allow for a lot more interesting perspectives that normally wouldn't get the time and spotlight. And even though they might have sealed Gojo at the very least, we do still got Nanami, and he definitely is bringing the big D energy to the table. I really like what they're doing with bodies and souls, which one's more powerful, and it really kind of does depend on the person, seemingly. And it's really cool to see what they're doing, how things feel similar, but also so drastically different all at the same time. But thoughts, feels yourself on this week's Jujutsu Kaisen episode, and what do you hope to see next week? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell so you get notified when I upload more videos to the channel. And like I mentioned, we do have a full live reaction to today's pretty hype episode over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out like Jedzmons 9173, Durhosh, Guzzlord, Franklin Greenway, Hikari Lounge, and Gordon Liu are getting today. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.